to Hudson. We're getting ready for Friday Night Football, week number 6. Among the 16 games on the schedule, Nashua South plays these Alvern Broncos. The cheerleaders are here. Are you ready? And so is the Alvern Marching Band. They're ready to play their fight song. It's called Victor's March, patterned after the Michigan State fight song. Take it away. Playing this after all the touchdowns tonight against Nashua South. Coming up, we'll talk live with our football coach. Thank you, Alvern Band. Back to you guys.
We just gotta concentrate, go out there, try hard, and keep our minds focused. Go out there and hit people.
We've got a lot of pressure on us to do really good, and a lot of people in the town got a lot of opposition. So I think it's really important that we do a good showing.
All right, that from 1994. Alvern High School played their first game in program history. They lost against Timberlane, but would get their first win a week later against Pelham. Howard Soboloff was the coach. Now he's the athletic director at Londonderry. 20 years later, Broncos going toe-to-toe with schools like Nashua South, fighting for a playoff berth. And we are joined by their head coach, Tim Walsh. You do get South tonight. Big football game here in Hudson.
Very big game. Two teams that have worked out all season are off to a good start, and it should be a good match.
Let's take a look at the standings in your conference. You guys sit atop with South at 3-2. North, a game back at 2-3. BG and Keene struggling a little bit. So this is for first place in your division. You don't need to much more motivation than that for the guys.
Right. The kids realize what's at stake, and they've worked out all week, so they're well prepared, and as both teams, I'm sure, are. And it'll be a very physical game, and I think it'll be decided up front.
Great to see Alvern stepping up this year. You've won 3 of your last 4. You're a strong team this year. What's turned it around for you guys?
Well, I think the leadership of the kids, the juniors and seniors in particular, have been outstanding. The kids have worked hard in the off-season with 7-on-7 in the weight room and things like that. So they've worked very hard. They want this. It's an adjustment from Division III 2 years ago to Division I now. So they're still adjusting to that, but they've so far adjusted pretty well.
All right, good luck tonight.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Alvern first-year head coach Tim Walsh. There are 16 games in Friday Night Football tonight. Jason King will have all your scores and highlights. You can at 603-471-9999 today.
Nicely done, Rich. A lot of scores tonight. A lot of high-scoring games, and one of them that was included was out in Hudson, where Alvern rolled up on Nashua South for the win. Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph was there. Tom, what'd you see?
I saw an offensive line that dominated Nashua South. Yeah. That's what I saw. Alvern just blew them off the ball. They ran at will. They had 480 total yards, over 300 rushing yards. Jack Mahoney had 212 yards on 31 carries, 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
They just did a job on him. I mean, I was stunned. That Alvern won. Okay, you're not that surprised because of the way they played this year. But after I saw them against Salem have the reverse happen to them, where they were dominating on the line of scrimmage and they turned the ball over, and Friday night it was just like a new team. And the other thing that made it different for me was Ethan Rainville, the junior blocking back, was out with a bad shoulder. And Mahoney had lauded him during the week as far as a player that was really someone who was helping him get all the yards he's gotten this year. Well, he wasn't out there tonight, but they had an offensive line and some other kids that really blocked well, and they just tell you, they took it to Nashua South. This is kind of a chameleon year for South. I don't think that Scott Knight really knows sometimes what to expect when his team takes the field. Well, I think that's the first time he's had that feeling in a while.
Well,
and it showed tonight.
Well, the good news, Tom, for Nashua South is they'll have a chance at redemption as they'll no doubt play Alvern in the Western Conference Championship game, with North losing tonight, BG losing tonight, and Keene losing again as they are
I
winless.
don't think there's any drama there, Rich, is there?
No, not at all. It's I was hoping for a good game, as I'm sure you were, but maybe this makes the championship game in that conference that much a little bit more dramatic because, like you said, the chameleon nature of Nashua South, you never know which team you're going to get, and I would be shocked if Alvern was able to duplicate this performance, right?
Well, I don't know. I would be too. I really would be. But they did the same. Walsh said that Tim Walsh, it was his birthday today too. The Alvern coach. Nice birthday present, huh?
Yeah, he'll be celebrating tonight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Walsh said that they played this way against Nashua North away up front. He said that was very similar to that win. I think that was a 27-0 game. And he told his team before the game to make history. Alvern had never beaten South. They only played them. This is only the second time they've ever met in football. But he said, make some history. Gives people something to talk about. And history was made tonight on a couple of different fronts. One, Alvern blew South away. And two, I wasn't hungry the entire game. Thanks to all that food I ate at Fox Hall today on the campus of UMass Lowell. So,
well done, sir.
Thanks to them for their hospitality. But I was stunned. I really was. After what I saw last Friday night, and then knowing that Rainville was out, I did not expect this to happen.
Hey, what does this say about did you ask Coach Walsh what his message to his team was following last week's loss against Salem, where they turned it over 5 times, and really Salem took it to them like they took it to South tonight? What was Coach Walsh's message to his team throughout the week? Obviously, they responded in a big way tonight.
Yeah, he told them to just stay the course, and that things just didn't go well for them, and that they were going to have games like that. But if they really wanted to win, and I was at practice earlier this week, and the tone that he set was, he said, you got to be aggressive. That's what good football teams are. They're aggressive. Yeah. You've got to take it to your opponent rather than the other way around. And boy, did they do that tonight. Now, it was a close game at one point. It was 14-8 midway through the second quarter. 14-0 Alvern, and then Langus scored on a 1-yard QB sneak. And 14-8, and they got 3-point conversion. 14-8, you think that, okay, this is going to be back and forth a little bit. South has now woken up. They responded. This will be a game. Alvern scored 2 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the first half. One with 6 seconds left in the half, and that's just, Goschel had a long run for a score, or actually a medium-type run for a score, and then Danny Brown connected with the kid that I told you about last week. He had great hands, Bonnie Lyles, and on a 7-yard pass play with 6 seconds left in the half. 28-8 at halftime. There you go, ball game. That was it. South only managed 38 yards of offense until midway in the fourth quarter when the game was no longer in doubt, and Colin Morrow ripped off a long touchdown run. So that kind of night. I haven't seen South dominate like that. I mean, Salem beat them, but South was in that game for a while. But this one, geez, I never saw the offensive line for Alvern. They did the trick.
Is it okay to talk now, Tom?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, thank you.
You can talk, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick, I'm trying to work off all that food I ate.
You're doing a good job, I guess.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right, Tom King joining us, talking Alvern football. The Broncos 42-14 winners tonight over Nashua South. You mentioned it was basically a track meet for Alvern. They ran at will. What can South do to improve on the defensive side of the football going into their battle next week?
Just to play better on the defensive line of scrimmage. I don't think tonight was a case of bad, sloppy tackling. There were a few cases of it. But you've seen games where, guys will slip tackles and 2 or 3 guys have shots at players and at a player, and they all miss, and and off he goes. That wasn't that case tonight. I mean, Mahoney was sprung at the line of scrimmage, you know, and he did a great job of doing that and getting extra yards and things like that. But I think they've got to figure out, you know, I mean, when I talked to Knight, he said, it's funny, coaches say this all the time, but I think it's true a lot. They have to look at film, and they have the worst vantage points in the house, looking at the sidelines sometimes.
Right.
So Knight will look at the film, but I think what he'll see his defensive line got knocked off the ball. And somehow, some way, he's got to figure out a scheme that will not, he and Al Neville, the defensive coordinator, have to figure out a scheme that will not allow that to happen in the games ahead. I think got Keene next Friday night. That should be that should be a feel-good game for South. That'll make everybody think that everything's okay.
Right.
But you know, here's one thing, guys, that I think is a factor. If South falls behind, they're gonna by 2 touchdowns or more, they're gonna have a hard time catching up if they want to throw the ball, because Langa just doesn't seem to have that kind of connection with his receivers.
Hey, Tom.
To make those comeback passes.
Alvern goes and plays the Londonderry Lancers at home next week, finishing their 3 straight home game stretch. The Lancers, I know you're high on them. You're high on Mr. Fairweather, who had another 5-touchdown performance tonight.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
What do you expect? What do you expect from that matchup? Is it going to be a contrasting styles where Londonderry likes to spread you out and let Fairweather do his thing, whereas Alvern likes to take it to you with Mr. Mahoney?
I still have to go with Londonderry in that one. I really do. I think it's down here for the Western Conference, but I'd still have to go with Londonderry in this game. I think that their speed can give South trouble. I would not give South, but give Alvern some trouble. So my thinking, I haven't changed. I mean, I'm high on Londonderry all the way. I think they're probably the second best team in Division I and third best team in Division I. So I think the Lancers can come in there, and I think Alvern's going to have such a sense of satisfaction that it's going to be tough to emotionally get charged up. They may, but I think they were really charged up for this one. So we'll see.
Tom, I know you've had a long day, my friend. I think you need to kick your feet back up on the table and relax for the next few hours. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. I got the Royals and the Orioles on right now, and at least I know if the phone rings again in the next hour, it won't be Stat calling me, so that's good. It's a good thing.
Just try not to go barefoot on the kitchen table, if you will.
No. I haven't. I didn't have that time tonight. I knew South takes a long time in their games because they go no huddle, so the clock doesn't tick. So I knew I was going to be home right around the time that I had to talk to you guys.
Yeah, Yankee fans are always trying to find some baseball this time of year lately.
What?
Nothing, low blow. I just said Yankee fans are always trying to find some kind of baseball to watch this time of year lately.
Hey, Brian Cashman re-up for 3 more years.
Perfect.
Kevin Law, the hitting coach, fired. Big news today, We're moving in the right direction, Flair.
Music to every Yankees ears, fans, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
All right, Tom. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, gentlemen. Yes, it is a weekend off. I will enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Do so. Have a good one.
All right.
That's Tom King. And always bringing us a great interpretation of things. 603-883-9900. Text the show at 50352. All right, final segment on the other side. A lot to get to. The Silver Chariot drive of the night, the player of the night, and a lot of thank yous as well.